but the power of Yeshua is, I think, needed more in this day and age than ever.
Yeah, it was Gandhi, I think, that said, "I love your Christ, but not your Christians. They are so unlike your Christ." He also said, "If it were not for Christians, I would have become a Christian."
Yeah.
And it just speaks to that, that feeling I talked about earlier of the internal conflict I think every Christian does feel, but not all allow them to admit to themselves. Because it can be scary to admit that something's off here. There's not an integrity with the message of Jesus in the actual practice of the Christian faith that needs to be there. And so the good news is, for those who may be listening who are questioning their religion, as I once did, and really wrestling with those deep questions, is that what you're feeling is the way of Jesus, the way of Christ, is not in total resonance with mainstream Christianity. And so a lot of people make the mistake of thinking that there isn't a true way of Christ, and they throw the baby out with the bathwater. And I saw many of my Christian friends do that, by the way. F Jesus, F the Bible, it's all bullshit, man. I'm going to do my own thing now. And you can do that if you want, but it's a bummer because there's so much gold to be rescued from the Christian faith, and it really nothing to be erased necessarily, but everything to be exalted to a higher revelation of what it means. It's not that Christianity's not true. It's that it's actually way more true than even Christians realize. There's much deeper symbolism in the crucifixion, resurrection of Christ. What does it mean to be resurrected in Christ? There's so much gold there. And so the good news for people listening, if I can leave them with good news, is that there is a true way of Jesus. And it's the Essene way. It's perfectly laid out in these texts and perfectly resonates, not even 85 or 90%, but 100% with the person of Jesus we all know and love in the Gospels. We say there must be a true path of this man in the red letters, not including all the dogma that's been attached to it, but just what is the true way of Jesus, right? Followers of the way. What is the way? And I'm so grateful the universe brought the Essenes not only back on my radar, but bringing them back to the world's radar, because it is the true way of Jesus. And I think that that's what everyone is really hungering for.
The only thing I'll contribute to that is I think, there's a wide range of individuals that are tuning into this episode right now in terms of their beliefs in the world and what they think about Christianity, organized religion, and the truth of where all this stems from. And I would just invite, because there can be often this times something that I experienced much more in my past as well, this sort of fracturedness of like really trying to solve life and figure out the answer of like what is the absolute truth. And
been there.
This drove me to like one of the darkest periods of my life, probably 8 years ago. When all of my friends were all kind of seekers in this way. We would like dive down these conspiratorial rabbit holes. A lot of them, and I haven't really talked about this too much, but a lot of them came, all of them except me essentially went down to like these new age churches, end times churches, and got, it felt very fear-based at the time of like, if we don't believe this, you're going to burn in hell for eternity.
Worst possible consequence.
Yes, for all of time. And thankfully for this individual I met that kind of just like allowed me just to chill the F out and to like stop putting so much pressure on my soul, because it felt like very fractured and felt very fearful. And if anything, this podcast is challenging maybe somebody who has more fundamental kind of Christian beliefs, I just want to invite that patience of your path to like not need to like figure it all out right now, but to put this conversation and alternative views in a bucket or a briefcase of possibilities that you explore when your worldview doesn't really serve you anymore. And to open it back up and to explore the softness, the gentleness, and to stop putting so much existential weight on your soul.
Yeah. God doesn't need you to figure out the whole nature of the universe before you can be free. Freedom is a choice right now to be at peace with what is. It actually sounds like the friend you mentioned was like the angel of peace in disguise, coming to you at your hour of need. I've been there, man. The rabbit holes, the conspiracy theories can put you in a dark place. And many people in the truth movement and stuff today are in that dark place where they just believe that evil controls everything, owns everything. And that's not only not true, but totally opposite of the truth. This is God's universe. This is my Father's world. There's nothing to fear. And when we operate from a frequency that is above those levels of consciousness, then we're not a karmic match to them anymore. Even I'm talking about the chemtrails, the poisons in your food. Like, this is a part of the path of purification that the Essenes taught and believed, was that by living pure, not only externally with the foods we eat and the way we live, but internally, I keep my mind pure. I think loving thoughts. I think non-judgmental thoughts. When we purify the vessel, like Jesus said, clean the inside of the cup and the outside will be clean. If your mind is clean, you'll notice you're eating good things, you're fasting, you're praying more, you want to do these things. You're not forcing yourself to do them because your purity is now flowing out of you. And when we live from a vibration like that, we don't need to worry what the World Economic Forum's doing next and the chemtrails and the poisons in our water, because we're not a match to those things. The universe will make sure we're guided in the right ways to avoid those traps and pitfalls, because we're not a match to that frequency. And something that science proves now is that a strong, coherent energy field always overtakes a weak, incoherent energy field. And so the only thing we need to worry about is not what's happening in the world and what's coming down the pipe next, but how do I make my own energy field strong and coherent, polarized, crystallized? That's the Essene path.
And that's